to the session 47 of Smit.fit. As everybody, the old participants, all whoever always attend, they know that we usually start our session with Kostin warming us up with his isometric exercises, and that's how we would be going. And then our nutrition team will be taking over with the topic of the day. So over to you, Kosto.
Okay. Your name?
Yes, I am doing that, sir.
Okay, super. I hope everyone's got some space to move and you're all dressed comfortably, yes? So, if you could keep your cameras on, that would be great. If I have to give you any small correction, that. Or even if your cameras are off, still get up and move, okay, please? Okay. We're going to start off with a few simple stretches and then we'll pick it up, move up a little intensity after that. Step one, I want you to start with your legs in your hips because I spent a lot of time sitting today, I think. So, pull the knee to the chest, hold this for a second, just drop down. That's all we're doing. Pull it up to the chest, stretch your hips and thighs here, and come back down. Very simple. We're doing 5 more per leg. We alternate the leg. Pull that up, drop it down, pull up, and drop it down. Same. Okay. From here, we're going to try and balance in one leg. Pick up the knee, turn out, drop it back. Again, pull it up, turn out, and drop it back. We're doing 5 of these before we change the leg. Keep looking at something that's stable so that you don't lose balance. The easiest way to hold on to your balance is with your eyes. After 5, we change the leg. Pick it up high, this knee, turn to the side, drop the foot back, bring it back up. If you can do all 5 repetitions without touching the foot down, that will be superb. Okay. From here now, we're going to sweep the floor. So I want you to pull your toe up, keep a nice straight back, you bend this upper leg, sweep the floor, come back up. I'm going to sweep the floor and come back up. 7 per leg, opening up your hamstrings, the back of your leg, stretching them out. And relax. Okay, next one. Now we're just going to rotate the ankle. If you want to hold something to support, you can. Otherwise, you can just keep it up to close to yourself. Change direction. And switch the leg. Okay, last one. Just do hip rotations or rolls. And change direction. Okay. Going with today's theme, we're going to do intervals, okay? So what I want you to do is go at a slow pace, don't worry, doesn't need to be very fast, but you're going to do intervals. So whichever exercise I show you, I want you to start off, we'll do it for 30 seconds, and then you're going to rest for 30 seconds. So we're going to have intervals of work and rest, simple as that, right? First couple of rounds, we're going to go slow. We're going to build up the speed and the intensity, right? Ready? We're going to start off with some really slow butt kicks here. So you stretch your legs up, kick up all the way if you can, and just keep moving for 30 seconds. And if you have space in the room, you can move forward, you can move backwards, or you can just stay on the spot. We're still warming up, going slow, so you should keep inhaling and exhaling from the nose. And 30 seconds done, relax. Take a break. Just shake your legs off if you want to. Next 30 seconds, we'll start in 15 seconds, is going to be a jumping jack. And if you can't jump, you can always do a raise and down and a raise and down. Okay? We're starting in 5 seconds. Ready? 3, 2, 1. Slowly, like I said, first round is going to be slow paced, warming up, not going too fast, not tiring yourself out. If you want to do the standing, both arms go up, one leg goes out. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Again, 30 seconds of rest. Doing really well. For the next one, we're going to get down on the floor. On the floor for 30 seconds. What we're going to do is we're going to kick back, come in, and then kick with the other leg and come back in. Ready? Come on down. We start in 3, 2, and 1. Kick back, bring it in, kick with the other leg, bring it in. Alternating legs. Focusing on keeping your back flat, not letting it arch too much. Don't let this happen. Tuck this in. And relax. Stand right up. That was our first round. We're going to repeat this, but a little faster this time, okay? 30 seconds of each. Ready? 10 seconds to go. 3, 2, 1. Start here. You can move around the room. I want you to exaggerate your arm movement as if you're really sprinting. Open your chest and shoulders as you move your arm like this. Keep going. 5, 4, 3, 1. Relax. Okay. This rest. Jumping jacks. This time, you can do the jumping one or the standing one. We will alternate between side and forward. Side and forward. Let's begin. One to the side, one in the front. One to the side, one in the front. Even if you're standing. Ten seconds more. 3, 2, 1. Okay, relax. Again, just focus on your breath. Bring that heart rate down again. We don't want you to get exhausted. 15 seconds, we get back on the floor now, okay? This time, we're going to go 15 seconds on just one leg and then 15 seconds on the other. Let's begin. And change the leg. And relax. Breathe. If everyone's up for it, we're going to do one more round. This time, really trying to take the intensity up one more notch. Okay, at your own pace, try and go a little faster than you did in the first round, and then we'll be done. Ready? Let's begin. Kick back all the way. You can go a little faster if you feel comfortable. Whatever speed you feel is good for you. And relax. Last 2 sets of 30 seconds, okay? Three, two, one. Let's go. Remember, you can go one side, one up, side, up, and then switch. Just throwing a little bit of coordination in there. 10 seconds more. Three, two, one, and relax. Okay, now as you get on the floor, I'm going to add a little bit of difficulty. We're going to kick one leg out, and the opposite arm will extend. So then come in, you kick one leg out, and the opposite arm will extend. Again, 30 seconds, just alternating. Ready? 3, 2, 1. Let's go. Opposite arm and leg extend, come back. Opposite arm and leg extend, come back. Focus is on the hips and the spine. We don't want to create a huge arch. Tuck this in with your abs and keep working. And relax. Okay. Superb work.
So, moving on, guys. Welcome again to the 47th session. I would sincerely thank everybody who's been with us from day one and who's helped let us be part of your journey. And a warm welcome to all the new joinees who are very new with us. And I would, before handing it over to the nutrition team, I would just like to tell everyone what the topic is. The topic for the day is intermittent fasting, the myths and facts around it. And no better than the nutrition team can tell you about the whole thing. So over to you guys.
Good evening, everybody. It's such a pleasure to see all the participants actively, involving in this Friday session. So let's keep this session interactive. So before starting the session, I would like to know how many of you observe fasts? How many of you keep fast? Yeah.
Once a week on Thursday, provided I remember. It's a Thursday.
Okay. Okay. Anybody else?
I do it once a month.
Yeah, I also do it once a month.
Okay.
I
All
do
right.
it once a year. That's also because my mom forces me to do it.
Oh, that's great. All
It
right.
depends how you define a fast.
Correct. That's what we are going to talk about. All right. So,
Okay, Preeta, here even I observe intermittent fasting every day.
oh, is it?
14
Okay.
hours of fasting. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Good to hear.
5 days, 6 days in a week.
Sorry, ma'am,
Yeah.
I can't hear you.
I said 5 to 6 days in a week. I keep
Okay.
my stomach empty for 14 hours.
Oh, that's great. So you're able to keep that fast. You're able to carry on with intermittent fasting. Okay, so let's
Yes.
educate others also about it then. Okay, if you go to see, we actually fast every day. From the last meal, what we have at night time, from that time till morning time, you are fasting only. But the difference is that you're sleeping and you're fasting. So when you stretch that fast a little more, let's say if you've had your last meal at 8 o'clock at night, and if you have your breakfast at 8 in the morning, so if you stretch that fast a little more, let's say to 12 o'clock or 11 o'clock, that becomes your intermittent fasting. So what is intermittent fasting? We'll see that now. Intermittent fasting. Okay, now before getting on to intermittent fasting details, I would like to tell you, highlight certain keywords which I'll be, repeating quite often so that it becomes easy for you to understand also. First is adipose tissues. Now, what are adipose tissues? These are fat which is stored in our body. Glycogen, this is stored form of glucose in the liver. And ketosis, when our body uses glucose from the stored fat, basically from liver, when it uses, that is glycogen, when is used, it gets depleted after certain time, and then our fat starts burning. Now this process is called ketosis. So we'll go through these keywords, and so that you also get used to hearing this word and you won't get confused while going through the session. Now, what is intermittent fasting? Now, intermittent fasting is eating pattern which alternates between your fasting period and your eating window. So it's not a specific diet plan like you follow a conventional diet plan where you are following a diet plan where after every 3 to 4 hours you're eating. This is not a specific diet plan, but this is eating pattern where you break the monotony of a structured plan. Now, what happens during that fasting phase? We'll understand that. What happens is when you are eating, your body first digests and absorbs that. For
Refers to
example,
eating plans that
Sejal, just a minute, let me explain it and we'll start with the video. Okay, what happens actually is when you are eating, your digestion and absorption gets completed within 3 to 4 hours. Now, what happens later on in that
Bhindi
fast?
bhaji and bhakri was there and chapati too.
Okay, what happens? I think somebody is unmuted. Okay, what happens between that fasting period? Your glycogen store, which is present in the liver, that is used, and glycogen provides energy for your metabolic activities, for providing energy, refueling your energy so that your body keeps on working throughout the night. Now, once this glycogen stores are depleted, your body starts taking energy from fat. So the adipose tissues have a lot of fat in that. So this fat burnings take place, and this process is called ketosis. Now, this thing we'll see in the next video, which is Sejal, can you switch on the video on the next slide? Yeah.
refers to eating plans that alternate between fasting and eating periods. The goal is to systematically starve the body long enough to trigger fat burning. While research is still underway and the method may not be suitable for everyone, there is evidence that, when done correctly, intermittent fasting can help lose weight, lower blood pressure and cholesterol, prevent or control diabetes, and improve brain's health. During a meal, carbohydrates in food are broken down into glucose. Glucose absorbs through the intestinal wall into the bloodstream and is transported to various organs, where it serves as the major energy source. Excess glucose is stored for later use in the liver and adipose tissue in the form of glycogen and fats. In between meals, when the body is in the fasted state, the liver converts glycogen back to glucose to keep supplying the body with energy. Typically, an inactive person takes about 10 to 12 hours to use up the glycogen stores, although someone who exercises may do so in much less time. Once the reserve of glycogen in the liver is depleted, the body taps into energy stores in adipose tissues. This is when fats are broken down into free fatty acids, which are then converted into additional metabolic fuel in the liver. Thus, if the fasted state lasts long enough, the body burns fat for energy and loses that extra fat. Losing the extra fat is translated into a range of associated health benefits. Insulin is the hormone required for driving glucose into cells. Insulin level is regulated to match the amount of glucose in the blood, that is, high after a meal and low between meals. Because insulin is secreted after each meal, eating throughout the day keeps insulin levels high most of the time. Constant high insulin levels may desensitize body tissues, causing insulin insensitivity, the hallmark of prediabetes and diabetes type 2. Fasting helps keep insulin levels low, reducing diabetes risks.
Okay, so that's
Refers
what.
to
So actually, now you've understood what intermittent fasting is. Now we should focus and who should do it, who can do it. Generally, anybody can do intermittent fasting. It is just people with diabetes, renal problem, neurological problems, certain types of cancers have to do under strict supervision of doctor and expert nutritionist. You cannot do it by itself, yourself alone. You shouldn't be doing it. So, and who cannot do it? Can you move on to the another slide, Seju? Yeah, who should not do it? Now, type 1 diabetic people, especially those who are on insulin, should avoid doing it. Children, teens, elderly people, those who are underweight, fragile, pregnant females, and lactating females shouldn't be following this intermittent fasting. Now, there are certain types of intermittent fasting. uh, it is 16 is to 8, 5 is to 2. Eat alternate days fasting and dry fasting. Now we slowly see what actually it is. 16 is to 8 fasting means the fasting period is for 16 hours, and the eating period, that is the eating window, is 8 hours. So you can eat good, healthy, nutritious food in that 8 hours period, and in the 16 hours period, the body will actually start healing. It will start the repair and maintenance of inflamed tissues, and it will provide the cells due to autophagy. The cellular, basically, cellular at cellular level, it will start improving. So that is why this fasting helps the person. 5 is to 2, where you eat for 5 days normal food, and 2 days you are fasting. Eat, stop, eat. Now, in this type of intermittent fasting, you fast for 24 hours, maybe once in a week or twice in a week. You eat, fast, then again you eat. So it goes like, it's kind of a you're eating, fasting, and eating. And alternate days fasting, as the name suggests, you are going without food for one day, and then again you're eating normal food the other day. Dry fasting, basically, it is seen in many religions. Actually, one religion only it is seen. So when you are doing religious practices, dry fasting is observed by them. So there is no water, no food, nothing is allowed, and you just follow that intermittent kind of fasting. Next slide, moving on to. Okay, now since this intermittent fasting has existed through ages, our ancestors hunter, they used to hunt and they used to follow this intermittent fasting only. Now, but this intermittent fasting has got popularity since 2000. Now, when things get popular, it gets associated with a lot of myths and facts. So, may I know anybody if you have heard about any myths or fact or any rumors related to intermittent fasting? If any of the participant knows, and please share their experience. Okay, nobody has heard. This is what I assume. Okay, so top 5 myths about intermittent fasting. Now, the first myth is fasting slows your metabolism. Actually, what happens when you are fasting, when you are in the fasting stage, your body uses the energy which is stored in your liver as glycogen. Now, when this glycogen is used, your body gets energy. You are energized. Your metabolic activities start taking place. Now, research has shown when there is flipping of metabolic switch, it for a short period of time, it actually revs up your metabolism. It increases your metabolism by lowering your insulin levels and by boosting growth hormones. So actually, even if you're not eating in your fasting stage, your body is continuously working, and hence your metabolic rate is maintained. And there have been several studies which show that during intermittent fasting, your metabolic rate goes to increases drastically to 14%, which is very high, which you don't see actually in the normal scenario. So now moving on to second myth. Okay, now we have been born and brought up with a concept of eating early in the morning, because the morning meal gives you energy, it energizes throughout your day, it gives the kick to start the day. That's what we have heard. So the myth number 2 is about skipping your breakfast. This is a very common myth which people have been, saying that intermittent fasting, where you don't eat your breakfast because your fasting period exceeds your breakfast time, which is actually not correct. Because what happens, even if you're not eating uh, your breakfast, your physiologically your glycogen stores are used, and your energy is provided by the glycogen, and certain hormones like cortisols, adrenaline, and growth hormone, they increase their levels. So what they do is they go to the liver, and liver is like a refrigerator, stored form of energy. So this hormones also increase, and the liver again, it releases that stored form of energy, that is glycogen, and it supplies, it fuels your system, so you have got ample of energy to kickstart the day. So even if you're not having breakfast, that's fine. You can have probably brunch, you can mix your breakfast and lunch together, and you can have a brunch. As far as you're meeting the RDA requirements, even if you're eating 2 times in a day or you're eating 4 times in a day, you can always meet your nutritional requirements. So there won't be any nutritional deficiencies. Also at the same time, you'll get energy throughout the day to sustain the day in that window period as well as in your fasting period. Now moving on to the next slide. Okay, this is very common belief that intermittent fasting causes nutritional deficiencies. Now, the idea is when you are eating in your window period, you need to have nutritionally equipped food, nutrient dense food. If you're eating processed foods, junk foods, obviously you will not get energy. I mean, you will just get empty calories. So you are not building your energy levels, but you are actually increasing your fat mass. So the idea is to eat more of calorie dense, as in healthy food with a lot of proteins, macronutrients, micronutrients in the diet, so that in fasting phase you don't feel sluggish, or you don't really feel low, so that energy levels are used up as glycogen in your fasting phase. Now, okay, now this is very common myth amongst many athletes and those who are into weight training, that intermittent fasting, if it is done, it leads to muscle loss. Actually, what happens when you are doing weight training, there is protein sparing effect which takes place during this intermittent fasting. So your hormones are released, the growth hormones. Now, during fasting state, the growth hormone increases by leaps and bounds to maybe 5 times the normal course. So in that case, this growth hormone prevents the loss of muscle mass. So the protein in the muscle is intact and the energy is utilized by fat. This fat gets converted into fatty acids, and these fatty acids provide you energy to sustain during that fasting state. So again, this process of ketosis is taking place. The fat is burning, and the fat which is burned is providing you energy throughout the fasting period. So, and one very more important thing is you need to have rich protein food, so that you don't lose muscle mass. So in your window period, eating period, you need to concentrate on eating good amount of protein, good quality protein, high biological value protein. Okay, now the last myth, that is the fifth and which is very important myth, is people feel that the body goes into starvation mode because you're not eating. So this is a conventional kind of a thinking that when you're not eating, your body stores are utilized, but you are under starvation mode. Actually, in intermittent fasting, we don't follow this concept because when you are not eating, your glycogen stores are used up. When your glycogen stores are used up, after 10 to 12 hours, when they get depleted, your adipose tissues, they have got a lot of fat stored in it. So it's the time for that fat to get used up. So in general, the body keeps on moving. The body keeps on getting energy from these fats stored. So your metabolic activity, your metabolic function keeps on happening. Mode when you are into intermittent fasting. I'm sorry, Sejal. I can't see the slide actually.
Yeah, we have I think we
Yeah,
have time for
okay.
some fun.
Yeah. Okay, some time for fun. The keywords which we have been using up till now, like starvation, adipose tissues, and glycogen, all these words which I have been repeatedly telling you. I hope you've understand a little bit about it. So through this word search game, we'll see how much you've understood, and if you can actually make out if you can really play with us. So there's a link which she has put up in the chat box, and you can copy paste that link in your browser.
Has heard about intermittent fasting for many. I mean, for the last 5 years, it has taken the world by rage. So, each one of you, have you ever tried intermittent fasting of some sort?
Yeah, there was one ma'am who said that she tried.
See, I
I
have
think that was
tried.
Mrs. Angre, Preeta Angre. She does that still.
Yeah, I do practice intermittent fasting, maybe 4 to 5 days in a week. Like I finish off my dinner at around 7 and eat my next meal only next day in the morning at 10 o'clock.
Okay.
Probably. You're
It's
able to
14
do
10,
that
14
for
10.
many years now.
Yeah, almost a year, 1 year now.
Right. So that during practice, I have had many episodes of people when it was just introduced to diabetics, and um, everybody wanted to follow it, but somehow the guidance of following an intermittent fast was missing. So everybody thought that 55-minute window was something that they would eat, drink, make merry in those 55 minutes. And during that time, actually, we saw people, the HbA1cs rocketing to beyond 10 also. So it's very important, like Kaveri rightly pointed out, that it's very important that you have to have a structured eating pattern. It has to cover all your nutritional requirements in that eating window. Only then it works very beautifully. And again, before you start doing any kind of these fasts, it's very important to you have to mention this to your physician, your diabetologist, whoever is managing your medication, and of course your nutritionist, because she is the one who will help you through this entire journey. It's another take on your lifestyle. So there is no right or wrong in the fasting process. Just that there is a right way of doing it.
Thankfully, I'm not diabetic or whatever, so I just do it for health, for good health, and to maybe lose a few kilos of me. That's it, which I have. I've really lost a lot of weight with it.
Just one question. I mean, in general, if you don't overeat, if you have a limited diet, and if you eat during regular intervals, when I say maybe something in the morning, something for lunch, and something for dinner, I think, is it necessary really to follow all this? Because if you have these 3 meals and if you eat limited, you don't eat just because it tastes good for your tongue. But if you just eat just the right quantum, I think shouldn't be, you don't have to really do intermittent fasting, right or wrong?
Kaveri, do you want to take this question?
Yeah, actually, sir, it is totally up to you. I mean, if you want to really follow a conventional eating pattern where you eat after every 4 hours, it totally suits you. So you can follow that pattern.
I'm not talking 4 hours.
After 3 to 4 hours, so you can follow that conventional pattern, or you can this is actually not a specific diet plan, it is lifestyle, it is eating pattern where you are fasting for quite some time and then you're eating for some time. So it is nothing related to a specific plan, specific pattern. In that eating window, you can eat 3 times also and you can eat 2 times also. So it is basically changing your lifestyle.
No, but I will just rephrase Kedar's question, and I agree. What he is basically asking, conventionally, we have breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and as long as we have a complete nutritious meal for all three, and with a limited quantity, and not just because it's tasty, we eat everything. Then, so that means we say, right, when you ek ghas kamis khawa, that. So we follow that. Then, isn't it that is sufficient? Is what he's asking.
See, the
Absolutely.
morning lunch is at say 1 o'clock. The dinner is at around 8:30, and then you don't have your breakfast until 8 in the morning, maybe a cup of tea at 6.
Yes, sir.
So you have about 10 to 12 hours of gap in the night.
Correct.
And between lunch and dinner, you have at least about 7 hours of gap. Whether that sounds okay is my question. Between breakfast and lunch, well, it's just about 4 hours or 4.5 hours. Between lunch and dinner, it's about say 7.5, 8 hours. Between dinner and morning breakfast could be 10 hours, is what my question is.
Yeah, see, if you want to start with this kind of pattern of intermittent fasting, you can start with 10 hours also. It's not necessary that you have to start from 16 hours, because it will be difficult for your body and for you also to adjust to that time. So you can start with 10 hours. If you see that, you can continue for 11 hours, so the next day you can continue to 11 hours. So gradually you can increase. It's not that straight away you have to go to 16 hours of fasting. Don't do that.
So Kedar sir, just to add to this, I think whatever you're saying, it's perfectly all right. So even if you're following 3 meal pattern, it's all right. I mean, because as you're saying that between lunch and dinner, you're already having 7 to 8 hours of gap, right? So as it is more than 4 hours. So I think that is perfectly all right.
I mean,
Actually, it is
every 4 hours,
individualized
nobody
totally,
eats,
yeah.
generally, by
Right,
and
right.
large.
Right.
Perfect.
By and large,
Absolutely right. Yeah, you're absolutely right, Kedar. 4 hours. I mean, in general, you don't go binge eating until unless it is Diwali and things like that. But see,
So intermittent.
Yeah. Someone was saying something. Okay, then let me. So see, I tried this Dikshit diet. Okay, now you call it. I used to eat at 8 in the night. Okay, and then my next meal used to be around 12:30 in the morning, the next day. Okay, and I did it for almost 6 months. And then, it just messed up everything. And nutrition and me, if we go hand in hand. So I will definitely say that I've been eating the best of best, okay, or whatever is required. Of course, I used to read and do it. I did not, I had a physician who was supporting me, but nothing other than that. And then it messed up, and to get my system back, it took a good lot, 6, 8, 9 months. So while intermittent fasting, I feel, is like every other person these days is saying, oh no, I'm on IF. But I don't know, as Kedar said, if you can eat 4 times a day, work it out, exercise it out, and if you are fit, it's perfect. If you have a condition and if IF is helping you, then absolutely right, you can go. But I don't think there are absolute proven facts that every diabetic who has done IF, it has worked.
I completely agree with you, Priya, because it is highly individualized. It is not like
Correct.
one size fits all. It
Hmm.
is highly individualized, and it also depends on the person's lifestyle, the kind of working pattern he has, uh, food choices, culture, which are actually culturally and logistically driven, availability of the food. All of this comes into picture, and only when it perfectly matches it, only then it can be successful. Otherwise, it can backfire. So it is very important that you
No,
give a good thought to it before you
Before starting,
decide
yeah.
to adopt it.
so there are people who have been taking help and trying to do, and yet not being successful. So my point is, like, it's too nascent to recommend it to, diabetics, like, full-fledged, is my point.
Yeah, ma'am, that's true. Actually, it is individualized and it should be done under, guidance only. Then only probably you might get results. But again, some people might not get result from IF also. That might also happen.
I did, but I will definitely agree to dry fasting.
Hmm. Yeah.
Dry fasting helps. I did a 40, I used to do at a time, I mean, it was actually a habit. If 14 hours of dry fasting is what I used to do, sometimes I couldn't sustain, but 13 hours, so definitely I would do, and that helped. That really helped. But this IF or Dikshit diet, or eating twice, keeping a 16-hour window, per se, actually it did not work. But dry fasting is actually creates magic.
You know
Yeah,
what I sometimes feel.
yeah, I agree. I agree with your dry fasting concept. Even I used to do, and I remember that when I spoke to this on this Smit.fit, program when I joined, that time I was, advised that this 14 hours fasting, some level was dropping at night, which I was not able to detect myself, and therefore I could manage myself for 14 hours, but it was not good for me. That was I was advised, you know. So I want to share this also over here, that 14 hours did help me a lot, but then when I was advised not to go for 14 hours, I came back to my 12 hours of fasting. So what is the say about this?
I think whatever routine you have been following as far as eating times are concerned, if you follow the same pattern but just cut down on the quantum and
Hmm.
things, I think, because otherwise, you see, all these years your body is used to eating at certain times, maybe at 8 o'clock in the morning, and that at 1 o'clock, and maybe at whatever 8:30, 9 o'clock in the night. Continue with this and reduce the quantum just to ensure that you eat just the right quantity and you don't feel full at the end of the meal. I think that should basically work out, right? Swati, Kaveri, and
Yes, yes.
Swar.
Yes.
Yes, sir, yes.
And,
Yeah, Swati is puzzled.
so
No, I lost connection, so I had to log in again. So I totally missed a few seconds trying to
Okay.
figure out what the question was. But
I'm actually, yeah,
There's no question. It was just a discussion.
discussion, yeah.
okay. So highly individualized. I would say,
Yeah.
that if ever somebody wants to start, you have to start very slow. Probably start with uh, 1 or 2 days, because there would be acid refluxes. There will be
Mm.
several ways that your body will act or react. So
Mm.
you have to listen to your body signals, and then probably you will get a signal from inside whether you can continue, or whether you should go back to your own routine and make small tweaks in the same.
अभी बीवी सिग्नल देती है बस करो.
So actually, this IF works good for weight loss. So basically, who want to lose weight, fat percentage, and also for the people who suffer from inflammations. So these are the two conditions where IF actually work wonders.
Yeah,
And
actually, yeah. Actually, in the fasting phase, your body does a lot of healing. So the repair and maintenance work at cellular level keeps on happening in your fasting stage. So if your body, if you're eating late till dinner is late, so your body keeps on digesting and absorbing. So that period goes till late. So your body gets very less time to do the repair work. So if you are doing early dinner and the fasting period is increased, so body has got more time to heal, to repair at your cellular level. So that is the basic idea of intermittent fasting, and it helps greatly in improving your insulin levels also. Although it might be individualized, if you have experienced it and if you haven't succeeded, so it is totally individualized.
Mm-hmm.
So, Kaveri, you mentioned in your slides that who shouldn't do it, right? And type 1 diabetes with whoever is taking insulin, they shouldn't do it. What
Yeah.
about the type 2 diabetic patients with insulin? Whoever taking insulin, should they do it or not?
Okay, ma'am, I would suggest that even if you're taking insulin, whether it is type 1 or type 2, if you have fluctuating sugar levels, you should always do under strict supervision of doctor. You should take permission of your doctor, endocrinologist, and the nutritionist. I mean, I would never say that do it on yourself, no, all by yourself. You shouldn't be doing it.
So, hi Gandhali, I just wanted to add one point. See, if you have diabetes and you're on insulin, so unless you are very obese, like आपका BMI 30 plus है, do not try for intermittent fasting. Basically, intermittent fasting works wonders for weight loss, for fat loss. ठीक है, whether he is diabetes or non-diabetes. अगर किसी को fat loss करना, और fat loss किसका, जिसका 60-70 kg weight है, वो नहीं, जिसका 100 plus weight, 95 है, 100 है, more than 100 है. For them, intermittent fasting works wonders. But अगर diabetes है और आपका weight 60-70 kgs है, you are having like your 3 major meals, you're doing your normal exercise, आप basically walk भी कर रहे हो, अगर 20 minutes walk कर रहे हो, your blood sugars are normal, then you should not go for intermittent fasting. Do not try any fancy terms, what I personally believe. I only prescribe this IF diet to my patients who are like 33-34, जिनका BMI 100 plus weight है. इसमें इंटरमिटेंट फास्टिंग से हमारा शुगर कैसे रिलेट होता है? सो इंटरमिटेंट फास्टिंग से क्या होता है कि हमारा वेट कम होगा तो इंसुलिन रेजिस्टेंस कम होगा, इंसुलिन रेजिस्टेंस कम होगा तो हमारा ब्लड शुगर कम होगा. So chain. So that is why how this weight loss, intermittent fasting are linked up with diabetes.
Got it.
Right. Yeah, this is the correct way of discussion.
Yeah.
And doing intermittent fasting is fine, but if things mess up, and if you have a condition, hypertensive or diabetes or whatever, then to get it back, it's
Very
a Herculean task.
Yeah.
That's my main kind of point, that to get things back on track, it's too much effort.
Yeah. I mean, for example, headache, acidity, I mean, these kind of things, right? Or then
Yeah,
your
there will
gut
be
health,
small
basically, if gut
issues
health
keeping.
get upset, then I think
Yeah,
it's a challenge.
giddiness also, all that.
So
Yeah,
that
that
is
is why you have to start with small. If you, even if you're starting for a small period, you have to start. You have to see if it works with your body. If it doesn't work, you shouldn't be doing it. Then only after doing for repeated cycles, then only you'll get hang of it. Actually, your body will get used to it.
So
Actually,
IF oil is only for 16 hours. It can't less than that is not IF.
No, actually, ma'am, directly going to 16 hours fasting is little difficult for beginners at least. So gradually increase it. Don't go to 16 hours. Start by 12 hours as it is. We are doing 12 hours fasting. That is, sleeping by the time you have your first meal. 12 hours ho hi jata hai. So gradually increase it to 13 hours, 14 hours. Then only you will get the results, ideally.
yeah, actually,
Yeah, ma'am,
yeah,
please.
to be very honest, is I started it since last year, and I'm doing it now for a year almost. So I'm very comfortable with 14 hours, and I don't increase it. And
Okay.
I've been seeing a lot of results, and thankfully, I don't have any health conditions, no diabetes, nothing. So I just basically did it for weight loss, and it helped me almost lose 8 kilos in 1 year. So very gradual, healthy weight loss I had. I would eat everything except no sugar. I was, supplemented it with jaggery, but it was very helpful. So that's what I would. So yeah, since a year I've been doing it, and I do it for like 5 days a week, or sometimes 6 days. So that's how it is. And 14 hours is very comfortable.
Yeah. So any which way, like 8 o'clock, you do your dinner.
Yeah.
And my first meal is at 9 o'clock. So already 13
Yeah,
hours.
13
My
hours.
first
is
meal,
fine.
as in my cup of tea, is at 9 o'clock. So
Yes, yes.
almost
Yeah, that is happening.
ho jata hai. Yeah.
Correct, correct. So that way, another 1 hour more doesn't matter. 14 hours is perfectly all right. And it shows results. I have experienced it. So
Priya, if I come
actually,
to your place at 7:30, you won't give me tea.
काय
7:30 वाजता तुझ्या घरी आलो, चहा प्यायला, तर तुम्हाला 9 वाजेपर्यंत थांबवणार.
नाही नाही तुम्हाला चहा देईन ना. And that day will be my cheat day. Come on.
केदार, तुम्ही प्रियाला नाही हरवू शकत. She will always have some answer.
I was about to say that.
आमच्याकडे बेव्हरेजेसचा प्रॉब्लेम नाहीये, तुम्हाला माहिती आहे.
Okay, so any more questions?
Yeah, probably.
Good to also know Preeta's story. I mean, because I've been kind of, can't say very negative, but yes, negative. But Preeta, it's nice to hear her. And Kaveri, of course, you've done a brilliant job in telling us all the the myths and about intermittent fasting. But sorry if I have discouraged, but
No, not
nice
at
to
all.
know about Preeta as well.
Yeah, actually, we have got good example about Preeta ma'am, so everybody can relate it to it. That whether it works or whether it doesn't work.
The moment I knew that we are doing intermittent fasting as a topic, I knew she had to come on board and
Yeah,
talk
yeah,
about
I
her
know.
journey.
Yeah. Because it's very comfortable, and I also walk every day or almost around 6 kilometers, 6 to 7 kilometers. So by the way, I stay in Bangalore. I think all of you are in Maharashtra. I'm in Bangalore. So, yeah.
No, I think I just have one question to all the nutritionists that we have within this Smit.fit. Probably you all can combine together and come for it, and it could be a food for thought as well. There is a myth, or probably we need to burst this myth. They say that dry fasting, then it can overcome serious conditions, health conditions, including cancer.
Yeah.
So I just wanted to know about it. That yes, is that true? Because I read it somewhere way back that there was a not human trial they have started, but yes, on animals and on mice they have done the trials, and the trial was successful. Dry fasting does reduce the chances of cancer, because in dry fasting what happens is, like as I think Suvarna pointed out, it also reduces inflammation. It generates cell regeneration by doing intermittent and dry fasting, improved immune function. Also, it has skin benefits and spiritual benefits, all we know. But I wasn't too sure any human clinical outcome that can it, be prevention, or it can reduce the risk of cancer by dry fasting or intermittent fasting.
Yeah, Vasim,
Okay.
there's a study which says with this intermittent fasting or with the like a prolonged fasting, there's a risk of the reducing of the cancer cells and for the lifestyle diseases also. Like you see, our like grandparents used to fast for the ekadashis and so many things. So they don't have any disease. Like we people who are like every time eating small and frequent meals, and we develop diseases. So definitely fasting plays a role in having like all the negative cells to get the phagocytized.
Very, you want to add something?
Sorry?
To add something to this?
Yeah, actually, this is the
Suvarna
process.
wanted to add something.
Yes,
No,
Kaveri,
go ahead,
No, you go
Kaveri.
ahead, Swarna, no problem.
No, Kaveri, you go ahead.
Somebody
Okay,
go ahead.
Okay, there is a process of autophagy actually which takes place. That is the regeneration of the cells. The cellular regeneration takes place when you're fasting. So your body is trying to heal at cellular level. That is why it is said that severe diseases like cancers are also cured by intermittent fasting. Although it is a slow process, it will take time. But yeah, definitely you'll get results. And studies have been doing rounds on this particular disease also.
Yes, so that is true, Kaveri, and many of the, as Vasim said, that many maybe the human trials have not been done till now. But I have seen one of my friends who is a raw vegan basically, but who follows this diet pattern, who goes for IF and who goes for dry fasting also. And I have seen benefits in him as far as the fat content is concerned, and otherwise also it does a lot of healing. Uh, while you are in a dry fast state, because even if we don't have food for say about 2 to 3 days, we still eliminate. So you can imagine that how much stored matter is already there within the body. So that is how, if you dry fast for maybe some period, you'll understand by yourself that how it benefits. So to answer Wasim's questions, yes, definitely dry fasting helps. But then it also depends, because if I try doing it, I cannot stay without food for more than 12 to 13 hours. So I am not a person who can, I can try, but not probably succeed in that. But a person who is actually can do it should ideally do it and see the changes.
So dry fasting basically is no water, no food. So what is the time period that you recommend to start with? How many hours a person should do that for a beginner?
See, for the beginner, again, I would suggest that go for a smaller interval, because you will not be able to sustain for longer time. And detoxification actually takes place when you're fasting. So your body is detoxifying, eliminating the waste. So why to go for a longer period, without water and food initially to begin with? So probably you can do that for 5 hours and then stretch it to 8 hours. You can do that.
But that anyway happens when you're sleeping over the night. So that part, that is the whole hours that you're not eating or drinking water.
Correct,
So
correct.
even after you wake up, you can extend that for a more 5 hours.
Yeah, you can.
Extend that, exactly. So you can automatically add hours to that period.
Yes, got it. Yeah. Okay, I don't know about others, but I think I have definitely benefited out of this session, and I'm going to try this and come back to the nutrition team, who I
Sejal,
like
I
to
have
call
one
the.
question.
Yes,
Sejal, I have one
Ganjali.
question.
Sure.
So, last question probably. So people keep saying you need to keep yourself hydrated, right? And now we are saying with dry fasting, go 10 hours, 12 hours without water. My habit is, even if I get up in the night, I make sure I drink 1 or 2 sip of water and sleep again, right? So how does that works? That one side of it, we are saying keep yourself hydrated all the time, and here you're saying don't drink what even the water for 10, 12 hours.
contradicting statements.
Yeah. So actually now in dry fasting, it is stated that go without water and food. But if you cannot do dry fasting, then I would suggest is go for intermittent fasting, where you can have fluids, you can have water, you can have herbal teas. But if you are into drinking, taking sips of water, don't do it. I would suggest you this.
It requires a lot of willpower also.
Yeah, it
Yeah,
requires a
I
lot of
mean,
willpower.
Hey, yaar, khao
Actually,
piyo,
intermittent
masti karo
fasting
yaar.
also requires a lot of
Kedar
willpower.
agree.
Yeah, but once it becomes a habit, then staying without it also becomes very tough.
Because you start seeing results as in terms of weight loss also, ma'am. So when you see weight loss is happening, you really feel good about it and you continue it, and that becomes your lifestyle. And other benefits also, health benefits also, you are seeing, your fat loss is going down, your energy levels are increased, your insulin sensitivity is increased. So you definitely would go ahead with that then.
I would just
like for the dry fast like we do in Ramadan.
Yeah, Ramzan.
Then we have a Karwa Chauth. So we believe कि ठीक है आज नहीं पानी पीना तो उस दिन प्यास भी नहीं लगती है. So if like your body can.
Isn't it उस दिन ज्यादा लगती है?
Shachi, you took my point. I was just about to mention
I
about
thought it's the
Karwa
other
Chauth.
way around. that
Other way
ज़्यादा
around, no?
लगती है।
नहीं लगती है
नहीं, but
गंदाली.
end of the day हालत इतनी खराब होती है कि that उसका impact पता लगता है.
I agree. So
It's
Ruby
that-
ma'am, this had happened to me initially.
Like we should not just go and eat everything. We should have a drink water, sit calmly, 15 minutes बैठो, then have some low carb food. And that day what we do is पूरी पराठे जो भी है दे दो. ऐसा नहीं होना चाहिए.
It's actually
Correct.
preparing your mindset basically.
Yes.
So when you
Yes.
are on that correct path and your willpower is strong and you have made your mind, you can do it, you can overcome these difficulties then.
This is
Yeah.
absolutely true.
Let's log off. Let's stop this.
Yeah.
And
Thank you, Kaveri.
thank you so much, everyone. Have a great
Thank you.
weekend.
Bye.